trucks are different. Tacoma is built for your life's adventures. Dependable day in and day out for weekend warriors and as a die-hard work truck. Tacomas also do better when it comes to fuel costs. Now's the time to buy right. Toyota trucks are different.
Want a great t-shirt for the female sports fan in your life? Check out the Your Turn t-shirt, available now at yourturntshirt.com.
And welcome back to Inside PressBox. Baltimore lost a great friend with the passing of Art Donovan. Nobody knew him better or worked longer with him than his friend and former WJZ sportscaster John Buren. We caught up with John at Miller's Deli in Pikesville the other day. Here at Miller's Delicatessen with John Buren, and what better place to talk about Artie Donovan than a deli?
Yeah.
John, your remembrances, you worked with him for 15 years.
Yeah.
Your remembrances of Artie.
He was in every way a gift that, as I step back from it, I really question whether I was worthy of. I mean, the thing I noticed...
Now, I want to make this clear. Before you started doing that with him on Fridays on JZ,
right,
you didn't really know the guy at all.
I don't think I'd ever met him, and his football career ended just a little bit before I started really following football. So, you know, I knew about Art Donovan, what I read, and what I saw on old film and stuff like that. But he was just, if you watched people when they met Artie, the one commonality was they smiled. Now, is that a gift or what? To be able to walk into a group of people and shake hands and they instantly, reflexively smiled. He was a gift that I just don't know that I was worthy of. He was such a light.
Talk about how smart he was in all things in life, because he made a conscious decision to be fatso.
Oh, sure. He talked about one time when he was telling stories, and I think it was even in the locker room, and he said, "Hey, I was telling stories and everybody was laughing. So I kept telling stories and they kept laughing." And right there, I think he saw, okay, I have some comedic ability. And then as the opportunity opened up, you know, to do after dinner speaking, and then, you know, Letterman and Carson gave him a big jolt nationally. I mean, he did real well out there doing the rat-a-tat-tat on the speakers tour. You know, he realized that there was a market for that, and with Dottie behind him, of course, Dottie ran the business.
Yep.
Dirty little secret, Dottie was
Dottie
Velma.
ran the business. Yeah, I know.
Velma.
Yeah.
If you wanted to book Art Donovan for an event, you had to speak to his agent, Velma. The dirty little secret, Velma was Dottie. Dottie handled all that.
So the gig you did with him for 15 years on JZ,
yeah,
it was sort of masked as a pick'em segment,
yeah,
you know, during the football season. But it was right, like about a 3 or 4 minutes opportunity for Artie to do stand-up.
Well, when we started, we didn't have a football team here. So
that's a good point.
So we were really treading water on this football thing. So I'd pick out a couple of national games, and he'd say something, or he wouldn't, or he'd say, "Oh, I don't care," and then it was a vehicle for Artie to be Artie. But the thing I learned early is there are some things that you have to stay away from. The first time I brought up John Elway, Artie made a specific and graphic reference to his sexual orientation. You know where I'm coming from?
I think I know where you're coming from.
He called him the one that rhymes with sneer.
Right.
On TV.
Right.
On TV.
Right.
Thank God it was 20 years ago.
Everybody wasn't quite as PC back then.
We would have lost the license right then and there. And remember when Bidwell was threatening to bring the Cardinals to Baltimore, and then it turns out it was just a leverage thing for Phoenix. Artie suggested that Bill Bidwell perform a physical impossibility with a football. Right there on television, very graphically, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we're all going to be out of work tomorrow. But at that time, he couldn't get away with it today. I know he couldn't. But at that time and that place, people went, that's Artie. What the heck.
How much did the return of pro football to Baltimore mean to Artie?
I think it really, really perked him up a lot. And especially because he had some association with Art Modell from the old days.
Yeah, they're both from New York.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Artie knew Modell's wife when they were kids. They lived in the same neighborhood. Talking about small world, it's only New York.
Right.
13 million, sure, I know her. And that helped a lot. And he liked going out to the games at first. After a while, it got to be, okay, been there, done that. And he really preferred to watch games on television. But he did enjoy it. And, they made a big fuss over him many times, bringing the old Colts back.
Yep.
The Ravens, when they came to town, were very careful to align themselves with that football history in Baltimore, and Kevin Byrne and all the guys out there did a great marketing and PR job that way, and Artie was part of that, and Artie enjoyed it. Artie enjoyed being Art Donovan.
There's no question
He
about
enjoyed
that.
being Art Donovan.
Did he really enjoy drinking a Schlitz? Was there something in the Schlitz beer that he really cared about and craved?
I am unqualified to speak to that because, as bizarre as this sounds, in all the years I knew Art Donovan, all the times I was around, I never saw him drink a drop. Never saw it. But now, he could tell me stories about, a case in a day, that wasn't really off the charts for him.
Yeah.
24 freaking beers in one day. But he had that capacity. But I never saw him take a drink.
How do you think this will affect the guys that are still survivors? The Bracey's, Marchetti's,
Because
Mutchler.
John's gone.
Yep.
Mackey's gone. You can go down the list. The boys that played on that 58 team, we're getting down to the short strokes here.
The nub.
I'm sure that they, years ago, were hit between the eyes with the reality of their own mortality. But Artie was a real bonding element. The first Colt in the Hall of Fame and all that stuff, and he was so gregarious and so social. Him and Mutchler like that.
They were best friends.
And when Ordell still lived around here, they were like twins. Man, it's got to hurt them awful. It's got to hurt them hugely.
We talk cornily about this and wrapping this up, that we're all lesser for him passing.
Yeah. I thought about it the other day. The day after he died, he died in the evening, and I thought, isn't that weird? Today is the first day since 1925 that the world doesn't have Art Donovan. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
That the world has had Art Donovan, and as I'm thinking that, I get that that thing in your stomach, and then I thought, but here's your glass full, glass half full, half empty. We had Art Donovan, and
for 89 years.
And you hear this all the time. I never knew anybody like him. He was one of a kind. They broke the mold, all that stuff. There's no question. That's the one and only.
John Buren, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Great to see you, young man.
Good to see you. 89 years young, Art Donovan passed away. We'll be back with more of the show after this. And I again thank John Buren for his time. When we return, we'll sample some of how Baltimoreans saw Artie, and also how Artie looked at his adopted hometown. Don't go away.